Hey everybody, today I wanted to talk about some meal planning. I don't know about you, but after all these years, I still struggle with some meal planning. That's been one of my issues lately, and I am a problem solver. I want to fix things, and so this is something that I've needed to work on. Several issues that I was having is I, as you know, have a big garden, so I'm having a lot of produce that I'm needing to use up. And then I also have a lot of really healthy cookbooks that are sitting in my shelf in my kitchen that aren't doing me any good because I'm not using them. So that's a problem. And then as you can see in front of me, I also have my Erin Condren that I wasn't using for my personal planning anymore. So that was sitting on the shelf, and that was bothering me because I don't like to waste things, and there were months that weren't being used. And so I wanted to somehow incorporate my poor Erin Condren back into my life. And then also with the meal planning, I just was struggling. I was trying to do it monthly, I was trying to do it daily and weekly, and I think I've come up with the solution for myself, which is what I'm going to share today. So with the Erin Condren, let's open this up, and I'll start with that's my week. I'll get there in just a second, but here's my month. So with the monthly, I think a lot of people struggle with what to do on their monthly calendar. A lot of people don't like that, just the overview of your schedule. That's totally fine. I've tried it as a exercise plan and some different personal kind of tracking types of things. None of those really stuck, but this meal planning really is working for me. So with what I'm doing is I'm just picking out a couple of cookbooks for the month that I want to use. So I will get some recipes out of there. Then I think about the produce that's coming out of my garden, which right now is cabbage, kale, tomatoes, all the squashes, pumpkin, zucchini, that type of thing. And so I need to incorporate that into my meal planning as well. And then, of course, just your normal stuff like what's in your fridge, what's in your freezer, and your pantry. So all of that combined is how I'm coming up with my meal planning. I was struggling because I was trying to do it daily is too stressful for me because when it's 5 o'clock, everyone's hangry and grumpy, and that's the time to start making something, not the time to think about what to make for me. So that was too stressful, too much anxiety there. The weekly, it seemed like I couldn't consistently do it on the same day every single week. Something would come up. So I tried to do it on a Sunday, and then something happened, and so that wasn't really working either. So the monthly is a great idea and a great place to start. So let's start with my monthly right here. And how I came about this is just combining all those things that I told you, and then just start writing stuff down. I wrote in pencil. The reason I write in pencil is because, especially with the meal planning, you start writing down ideas, and then all of a sudden you look at it and you're like, wait a second, that's 3 pastas in a row. Now you may like that. I personally don't. I like to mix things up. I like to have a variety every single day. So that's why I would recommend using pencil. Then also you need to look at your big family wall calendar as well. Depending on your schedule, that may or may not affect your dinner. If you've just got a regular, normal appointment during the day, that probably is not going to affect your dinner. But if you are going to be gone running errands all day, you may not have the time or the energy, you're really tired to make that particular meal for that day. So some of those kinds of things you can plan in advance. And so that's what I've done here. As you can see, it's very basic. I don't have hardly any decorations or stickers. The stickers that I do have on here are the activities that will directly affect our dinners, because that's all I've planned right here. Our breakfast, I have stuff pre-made that people can grab and go. And then lunches, everybody just makes sandwiches or is going out for a business lunch or something. So really it's the dinners where I just need to nail those down and have great ideas for that. So as you can see, here's just a whole bunch of ideas. I have one idea per day. I've told you that we usually only go out to dinner once a month. So we're really excited right here. We've got some friends in town from Texas. So we're going out to dinner, and I just have stickers that I needed to use up for that. Then here's just a big football game. So we'll be eating at the game there. And then of course, Labor Day, we've got a barbecue at the lake. And then I just denoted the first day of autumn because, oh my goodness, you guys, autumn is so great. That's my favorite season, especially September. I think I've decided September is my favorite month. And a large part of that is the food. I just love the food from autumn, just all the harvest and all the vegetables that are coming from it. Anyway, I digress. So that's how I came up with my meal plan. These right here, these thin green washi strips, this is my husband's travel schedule. I do think a little bit differently about meal planning when he's gone. It's a little bit more, I guess, relaxed and laid back, just more of lighter fare food, just not as much amount of food on the table. So that's why I put that in here to just remind me that he's going to be out of town. And then other than that, I just kind of, like I said, just look what's in the pantry that needs to get used. When you're doing a monthly spread, it's really hard, of course, to know exactly what produce is going to be used at exactly this right day. But you can get an idea. You know that the potatoes and things like that are going to last longer than your lettuce. So you can have ideas like that. And of course, you go to the grocery store probably on average about once a week. So just kind of think about all those kinds of things. Then the two cookbooks that I'm using this month are the Engine 2 Diet. There's several great recipes that have been recommended by a lot of people that I'm trying out of that. And then this one right here, I've mentioned that I have to be gluten-free. So this is another great one that I have several recipes that I'm trying out of there. I would say for the most part, I do love to try new recipes. That's the thing. I'm not one of those people who's just stuck in a rut with a lot of their food. So I would say probably half the ideas here are new recipes and half are just our family favorites, standard ones, that your go-to ones. Again, that's just me. That's just what I like to mix it up. And so for the books that I just showed you, the HDFL, that's Healthy Gluten-Free Life, these are just a couple sides that I want to try out of there. And I will just put, as you can see, I just abbreviated the book and then put the page number where the recipe is. This is the Engine 2 one right here. Same thing with the recipe and the page number on that. MWFL is my favorite blog. It's My Whole Food Life. She has a cookbook out now that deals mainly with breakfast type things and how to make your own milks and nut butters. She's coming out with a new one with everything in it. Her husband makes a lot of really great dinner foods recipes. So I'm really, really excited about that, but I digress. The MWFL just means that I know I'm going to have to go onto her blog to find that recipe because that's, like I said, not out in the cookbook yet. And then I just kind of, figure out with the autumn season coming up, that's when I start incorporating soups back into our menu. So I usually do at least one soup a week. And then a lot of, just more hearty fare types of foods. That's when I bring back all of the pumpkin recipes and things like that. The squashes, I'm trying to think what's the apple recipes, especially because we are right here. This is a crockpot meal because we were picking all of our apple trees on that day. So I know that that's going to be a really exhausting day. And so that's why I have a crockpot meal. That's just CP crockpot. So just things like that. And then I have a couple days in here where I have allocated for leftovers. Because especially as you know, if you do a lot of cooking, you're going to be having some leftover vegetables. I mean, nobody's perfect on predicting how much exactly everybody's going to eat and how much you need to prepare for every single meal. If you're a wizard like that, my hat's off to you. I've just never been able to do that. So there's always going to be just little, maybe one serving left or just bits and pieces of some vegetables or whatever. I've never mastered the art of figuring out if I'm going to be using that in the next few days or not and sticking it in the freezer. So I just mainly use that and incorporate that into my meals that are coming up. That's how I've just worked it. And so then for this right here is, I just call it leftover magic. And that's just using all those different, little 1 cup measurements of something that are left over from your previous meals. And then you just put it all together. You can look on Pinterest. There's a recipe index type of thing out there where you can type in what ingredients you have and then it gives you a recipe for that. So that's kind of just the leftover magic idea. And then the other one is shake the fridge, which literally we open up the fridge and whatever falls out is what we're eating. So whether that's just one portion of each different kind of meal, or if it's just whatever people feel like eating, if they only feel like eating a sandwich, that's great. That's what shake the fridge is to us. So I've just incorporated one of each of those into each month. And then this one right here is my husband's choice. We have family come over usually every Sunday night, and we cook for them. And he likes to cook a lot. That's one of his stress reliefs. It's very enjoyable for him. And so he will just tell me what he wants. And then I will, of course, buy all the ingredients at the store. I cook because I'm hungry and I love food. So it's kind of a different philosophy. I just want to get stuff on the table and eat, where it's more of a just, this is really nice for him to just cook and relax. So just like I said, just a little bit different philosophy, but I appreciate every time he cooks. So that is my monthly. That's worked out really well. How I do incorporate that now into the weekly is I look on the monthly, of course, what's coming up, and I look and see if that's still going to work out for the day. Because as you know, plans change, things come up. So these are just your ideas on what's going to work with what you already have or what you want to eat. And then you look on your weekly, and then you can look on each day. So for the most part, for the weekly, I do the same thing as I do for my weather, where I can usually plan for several days in advance, but not the entire week. And so that's what I do. And we are at the end of the week now, so of course I finished up this week. And then I'm using some kind of food stickers related to that I'm trying to use up. So that means nothing as far as my dinners. And then I just can write that down. So you can use this more as here's your ideas, and then you can have ideas for your weekly if you want, or you can use this section for the actual tracker on what you ate for that day specifically. Does that make sense? So instead of like planning out the week, then you can just write down what you actually had. I have done that as well. But I kind of like this where you have an idea, because like I said, you don't want to get to 5 o'clock because that's the time that you need to start making something, not planning it. And so I like to have the ideas written down. Very rarely will we get to 5 o'clock and I'm making something and then somebody will say, I don't want that. I mean, really it's too late at that point. I'm already started making it. But there are very rare occasions will there be, I really just really don't want something, and then you can switch it up. So that's the great thing about having this plan is, say you wanted the chicken tortilla soup on the Friday instead of the Wednesday. You can just mix that up when you get to your weekly. And then of course, if there's some meals that you're just like, I'm just not feeling it, that's okay too. But I like this, like I said, just to prevent that anxiety from not knowing what to have and just having absolutely no idea. And then just kind of narrowing it down for the week, and then really narrowing it down for the day. That's for the daily. That's when I would open up my fridge and see exactly what fruits and vegetables, the produce that I absolutely have to use either that day or the next day. And then that's how I prevent waste from that. So if that makes sense. So for me, it's working out best to have a monthly plan, a weekly plan, and then the daily is when I will get really into the details on mainly the produce that needs to be used up. So I hope that helps. Like I said, I know a lot of people have struggled with the monthly. That's really where it starts with me. And thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again. Bye-bye.